Hello and welcome to Contra Mundum. My name is Susanna Eileen Martin. I am your host. Welcome to the show. With me this week, I have my friend. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's Mica Kluge.
Yeah. So Mica has a really interesting expertise this week. Your expertise is in what?
Firefighting and emergency services.
Yeah. Okay. So Mica is a firefighter and a lifeguard and that kind of thing. So tell me, how did you get into that?
My dad used to be the chief of our local department, and he was one of the founding members, so it's kind of been in our family for a long time. And I joined up as a volunteer when I was 13 as a part of their cadet program.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about the cadet program? Like, how did that work? How did they let you go and fight fires?
There are certain limitations as to what you can and cannot do. You can go through all the training. You cannot fight interior fires. You cannot drive the trucks or anything, and you cannot take lead or take point on medical calls or things like that. Once you're 16 and you can actually get your medical certifications, you can actually work on patients and such.
Okay, so can you remember like the first thing you actually did, like the first trip you got to go on that was like working with somebody?
Working on someone, I ran a search and rescue. It was a 3-mile-in hike, and it was for a very large guy who had stubbed his toe, and we had to carry him out 3 miles in a Stokes basket.
So you rescued a man who stubbed his toe?
Yes. I was so excited.
Okay.
And he had stubbed his toe, and that was it. We got the call as a broken ankle, and he had stubbed his toe.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's actually like legitimately really funny.
It is. It was awful, but it was hilarious.
I mean, as a person who currently has no toenail, like I know that toe pain can be a thing, you know. But
yes, but
wow, that's
yeah.
I mean, I hurt my toe on like a hike one time. I hiked up Sharp Top Mountain, which is a little while from here. And I didn't like call. I had like half a toenail left on my pinky toe, which it is amazing how much pain a tiny little toe can cause a human being.
Yeah.
But I kept hiking.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really funny.
Yeah, he was hiking. I don't know how he got 3 miles in. He was wearing flip-flops and he stubbed his toe.
See, I was wearing sandals, but I had a reason for wearing sandals. Like I already had a toe that was all screwed up. So, oh my gosh. Why would you wear flip-flops on a hike?
I don't know. It's especially where I'm from because it's very mountainous and such. It's just, it was funny. It was awful because we had to carry him out and he was not small, but it was funny.
So it was like you on a stretcher carrying this poor guy down the mountain?
We have a Stokes basket and we had a wheel, picture a ATV wheel that we clamp on to the bottom of the stretcher and we push it / carry it out because if we can't push it, then we have to carry it. So
you like balance it on a wheel and carry it out.
Yes, it's like it's a stretcher on a unicycle, basically.
That must have been a nightmare. Oh my gosh. Okay, so have you actually fought a fire before?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell me what's that like?
It's hard. It's, because you have so many different things going on all at once. If you're fighting, and every fire is different. You have your outside fires, which require different equipment, different uses of manpower. And then you have car fires, which are awful things because so many carcinogens and everything. And plus they have the gas tanks and they're a little bit volatile. And
a little bit volatile. Yeah, movies would tell us they're a lot volatile.
Yeah, well, and the scariest thing is when the tires blow because you never know when it's going to happen, and it sounds like 4 gunshots when the tires blow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It is.
Okay. So, okay.
And then house fires, you have your whole other set of rules and protocols. Plus, you might actually, I've never worked a house fire where we actually had to go in and get somebody out of there.
Oh, okay. So the house fires you've been to, like people were already out. You were just trying to subdue the fire.
Yes.
So have you run the hose before?
Yes, I have.
How heavy is that? Like,
the hose. It depends on the size of the hose. You have your small 1.25-inch hose, and then you get you have 2-inch, 3-inch. We have up to 6-inch the hoses that we use to channel
that's
water.
That's how big the spout is?
Oh no, that's how big the hose itself is, the diameter of the hose.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And then we have these huge things that we use to channel water between a pumper and an engine, or a tanker and an engine. The tanker's used to carry the water to the fire if we can't get to a hydrant, because we are retarded and we have no hydrants.
Hey, where do you live again?
I'm in the northern part of Greenville, South County.
Oh,
South
okay, I
Carolina,
see what you mean.
Yeah, we have no hydrants. But the engine is responsible for actually pumping the water. So the engine carries the hose, the tanker carries the water.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but if you have a smaller diameter hose, then there isn't as much water trying to get out at once. Plus, you can control the pressure on the truck. But if you get one of the slightly larger diameter hoses, like 1.75 inches or so, then it will knock you on your backside.
Oh, really? Yeah. So like the first time you ever tried to run, did you get knocked down?
I was an old officer's daughter, so they didn't let me.
Oh.
So I had a big guy backing me up to make sure it didn't knock me backwards. Plus I was 13. I was tiny at 13.
You're not particularly large now.
I'm not, but I'm way stronger than I look.
Oh, good. That's good. So. Probably helpful if you have to haul enormous people out of
the woods. Yeah.
The woods. Okay, so what's the scariest situation you've ever been in?
Oh man. Scariest situation I've ever been in. Well, back a few years ago when they were having all these attacks on first responders and stuff.
Oh, I don't remember, but okay.
Well, it was like when the cop shootings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you
started up. Well, it wasn't just cops that were being attacked. It was also all kinds of first responders and firefighters and stuff. So every call we would go to, we were always we were always kind of scared because people would call in fake calls we got in the warning people were calling in fake calls to try to ambush firefighters.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
So it was, and we're all volunteer departments, so it's like you don't have to go, but there's going to be nobody else that can't, and sometimes.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean, you would have to think like, what's the danger in this sort of thing? Am I going to be walking into an ambush or?
Yeah.
But if I don't go, then somebody could die, literally.
Yes.
So wow, that'd be terrifying. Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
What do you think like the biggest fire you've ever had to deal with was?
Last year when they had all those wildfires.
Oh yeah.
We actually had a 10,000 acre one in our district.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, Pinnacle Mountain Fire crossed into Greenville County. Right as actually the day I went home for Thanksgiving, it crossed into Greenville County.
So did you spend like all Thanksgiving break just fighting a fire?
A lot of Thanksgiving break. We had a lot of stuff that we had to work through with forestry because forestry and FEMA and the federal stuff got involved. They wanted only people with what they call a red card certification, which is a technical wildland firefighting certification to go in there and fight the fires.
Oh.
And
do you not have that?
I do not have that. It's okay. Like the hotshot smoke jumpers out in Utah, Arizona, there have it, but we don't get it because you have to. It's a pretty extensive class. You have to go all the way to Columbia to do it and take the tests. And
Greenville and Columbia are not close, I don't think.
Yeah, no, is it Columbia? But you have to go through all these classes and stuff, and a lot of us are perfectly capable of it. We just don't have the time to go and actually take the classes.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, you're busy people. You're in college now.
Yeah.
Let's see. You said you're also a lifeguard.
Yes, I am. I spent a couple of years lifeguarding in a summer camp.
Yeah, I did the same. I started lifeguarding when I was 16. It's so crazy. Like, you actually started like fighting fires and learning how to fight fires when you were like 13 years old. Mm-hmm. What makes a 13-year-old girl want to go fight fires, other than the fact that the chief was your dad?
Well, actually, my dad wasn't the chief at the time. He had retired from chief at that point. But it's just. We're a small community and we're pretty close, so it's just the desire to do everything I can to try to help the people around me.
Okay, that's really nice. I like that. So as far as lifeguarding saves go, I can tell you let me tell you the story of like my first, not my first save. My first save was just like me staring at a drowning child in the water until somebody yelled at me to go get the drowning child in the water. I was terrified. But my funniest save I think I have to do was I was lifeguarding by myself, full surveillance or whatever they call that, for a Girl Scout group at the camp that I was working at over the weekend at one point, because I got paid more on the weekends. Yeah. And the whole time I did a swim test with all the kids. They all passed fine. And then this one kid came in late, starters, and said, "Hey, can I do the swim test?" I was like, all right, fine. So I pulled all the kids out of the deep end and I said, look, normally I would start them in the shallow end to get them going there. But I said, all right, look, can you swim? And she said, yeah, I can swim. Of course I can swim. Never trust a child when they say that they can swim. By the way, don't do that.
Yep, I've learned the hard way on that.
And I said, all right, fine. And so the water was about 7 feet deep where I was. And so I said, go ahead, jump in and swim to the other side of the pool and swim back, and then I'll have you tread water for a couple of minutes. That was our swim test.
Yeah.
And kid jumped in and sank immediately to the bottom. I was just like, no, you stupid kid. All right. So I jumped in, pulled her back up, pulled her on the little tube thing that we carry around.
Yeah.
And I said, I thought you could swim, pulling her over to the ladder to get out. Just, I thought I could swim too. How do you know you can't swim? We'll have kids that'll jump in the water and we'll tell them it's like, if you can't swim, it's okay. You don't have to try to pass the test or anything. And they're like, no. I was like, I swam once in the ocean with floaties on. Sure, I can swim the length of your pool that's 10 feet deep at one end. Of course. It's always the male kids. It's almost always the males. Because they see all their buddies doing it. They don't want to be left out. And so they'll jump in the water. I had this one kid. I didn't save this one. But this one kid jumped in the end of the water, in the shallow end, and then walked. He didn't attempt to swim at all. He just walked until the water was over his head and we had to go grab him.
Oh,
that's a special kind of stupid. So, have you ever saved someone doing lifeguarding?
I've actually never managed to have to do a really hard save.
Oh, really? Yeah. Did you have any boo-boos and just the normal stuff that you get?
Just the normal boo-boos. When I was working at camp, we had a zip line that went into the lake, but the platform for the zip line was about 20 feet up off the water. No. So you would have some people who be like your swim test. They'd be like, yeah, sure, I can hold on. And they would run off the platform holding on to the zip line and splat.
Oops.
At least they were wearing life jackets because
that was the one thing I worked with day camp last summer. Yeah. And I mean I had 5 to 12-year-olds. And so I was really glad some of them were not the bigger kids, or we're not the bigger kids, because the bigger kids could just go and swim wherever they want. We put life vests on ours. Yeah. So they could flounder around in the water all they want, but as long as they didn't somehow get their heads stuck under the water, which is tricky in a life vest, but I've seen it done, then we'd be fine. Yeah. Which was good. So,
Yeah. But no, lots of nosebleeds, some splinters.
I hate nosebleeds.
I've never worked anything serious. I know they did have some serious stuff, but I was doing something else that day, I think. So it's like the one day we had something major, or we actually had to backboard they actually had to backboard someone.
And you missed it?
I was doing horses or something that day.
Oh, too bad. Yeah, actually the place I worked at had horses too, and I was exclusively a lifeguard, but one time the horse people came over, some of the barn staff came over like, hey, we need your backboard. I'm like, what? Apparently one of the barn staffers had fallen out of the hayloft onto her butt, and she broke her tailbone or something. I felt so bad for her. She was such a sweetheart too. Aww. But that was the one day I really wished that I'd gone and helped, because I didn't know. Thinking back in retrospect, these people don't know how to backboard people. They could have done it completely wrong and screwed up this person's back for the rest of their life. I wish that I had gone with. They told me not to come with, but I was like, no, I should have gone with. Yeah. That was dumb. Why didn't I go with them? We could have. We had enough lifeguards for me to go and head with them to make sure that they were fine. Yeah. Retrospect is,
hindsight is 2020.
Hindsight is 2020. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, are there any other interesting facts about firefighting that you wouldn't expect the general populace to know about?
Well, it depends on your. Oh my word! There's so much, and firefighting's been my life, so it's I'm trying to think of the really weird stuff that I found out about that. I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry. Again, this has been my life, so I grew up learning knots, positive pressure ventilation, and SCBAs and all that.
What's that?
Okay, so when you're fighting a house fire, a positive pressure ventilation is a technique they use. We've never actually done it, but I know the theory. It's where you use 2 giant fans to blow the fire back. So you have to make entry through a front door, and then you open the back door, basically, or you make a hole in the roof, and you use a giant fan to blow the fire back.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so what's does it just blow it into the back of the house and then you can just aim the hose at the back of the house?
I think that's how they've done it.
Oh.
Again, we were going to do some training on it, but I had to leave for college, so I never actually.
Oh, pesky college.
Oh, pesky college.
Yeah. So have you like kind of quit since you started college, or do you do it when you go home? Or
it's a volunteer thing, so I go when I do it when I'm home. But like I said, I spent Thanksgiving break on a mountain fighting a fire.
Yeah.
So
Wow. That's pretty crazy. Like that would be really scary. How does it feel to just be like on a mountain fighting like something that could cuz those forest fires, they can kill people like really easily. You always hear when they have a forest fire, it's like, yep, this firefighter died.
Yep. With anything, it's an adrenaline rush. It can be terrifying, but one of the important things they always told us is that you have to be so careful not to get blinders with what you're doing. You have to force yourself to constantly be aware of anything. With the huge forest fires, again, they are picky about hot shots. So with the huge forest fire, they only sent the hot shots to actually fight the fire. They put the rest of us on fire.
What's
breaks.
a hot shot?
The hot shot firefighters are the ones who are specially trained from Utah, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Is it only Utah and Arizona?
Those are where the majority of them are from, or the ones that we worked with came from.
I would figure there'd be like a lot of like Californians.
I think the Californians had their own problems at that point.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. I see.
Yeah, and there were so many wildfires in the southeast at that point because they had the huge one up in Hendersonville, North Carolina, which was even bigger than our 10,000 acre fire. So
yeah, I know the big one that was on the news everywhere was the
one in Gatlinburg.
The Gatlinburg fire. Yeah, I know. A lot of my professors are from that area or have spent time in that area, so they were really sad to like see the what are they called, the chimney top trees or something?
Something like that.
It was something like that. But it was really sad to see all these beautiful trees and an area just turn to ash.
Yeah, but I don't know. Fire's a positive force. Sometimes it helps with the fertilization of the ground, and eventually it comes back, and it's very nice when it does. Table Rock's already starting to come back. So.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would add about this before we go?
I mean, there is so much that I could say, but I would literally keep you here all day. So
don't want to do that. It's my off day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy A day.
Yeah. Assessment day, by the way. That's what we're doing this on. We have a day off in the middle of the school week. It's awesome.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, then thank you for coming on the show. I'd love to have you back sometime.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we'll have you back and we'll talk about writing or something because I know that's your other passion, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for joining me again, and I will see you all next week. Bye bye.